Hey everyone, it's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United, joined by Henry Hotspur. How's it going,
Hello,
Henry?
good evening to you all.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm buzzing tonight.
Buzzing, are
I'm
you?
buzzing off Carabao.
Carabao.
Yeah, I love that shit. It's good stuff, man. It's cheap, you know. I've mentioned this before. I'm addicted. I think I've got issues with it. It's kind of like I don't feel alive unless I've had one.
Man, that League Cup marketing really got you, didn't it?
It really did. Really did. And we got beaten by West Ham in it as well, didn't we? Mugs, aren't we? Drinking that shit. Fuck.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. It's time for, it's that time of the week, isn't it? Pig and the Hen show. We're back. I've just realised actually we may have messed up like the link. I did have a preview that this video would be starting sooner on a different link. So I basically had a mare there. So anybody who was sort of waiting around, tuning in, I saw some people tweeting me and also commenting in the live chat before the show's even started. Thank you so much for getting involved and sticking around here if you're still here. And apologies, we're late. We're just, what have we been doing, mate? We've been sniffing dried Carabao.
Yeah.
You'd love that,
We've been away, haven't we? Because obviously we've had the England games and stuff. I mean, you know, we used all that super chat money and we went out to the Netherlands and we watched that game. We were there in the stands, were we not? Were we not? Can you not see that Dutch tan?
Do you know how unprofessional we are, mate? I haven't plugged the microphone in. I like the decent microphone. So
good point. Can you even hear what I am saying right now?
I think they can hear what we're saying. Yeah, it's just coming through like we're doing it on a phone now, which is a bit shit. But there you go, which is what we are doing. But yeah, just back from our little holiday over to Amsterdam, throwing some bicycles in canals, you know. Shocking behaviour from the England fans over there in the Netherlands, I have to say. Disgraceful, man.
Fully involved.
100 England fans, basically. You've got these nice families, nice Dutch families going down the canals, yeah. They're going about their day, they're having a nice time, you know, probably talking about tulips and Van Gogh and shit like that. And then what happens? A bunch of leery, pissed up England fans line the canals and soak them in beer, horse piss, and anything else they can probably get their hands on as well. Scum! Absolute scum. I mean, okay, there's a fine line between, you know, a bit of a practical joke or whatever, but that's basically an assault by a mob. It's like a mob mentality. They just bombarded these perfectly innocent Dutch people. Maybe they weren't even Dutch, but harsh, eh?
That's
proper
it.
Harsh.
So you probably gathered we didn't actually go to Amsterdam. No, we haven't spent your super chat money on holidays for ourselves. And we are saving that for better equipment. Are we going to plug the microphones in or not?
I don't know what I've done with it now, mate. I've had a mail. You're going to have to let me go and get it, basically. But people can
leave me on my own. I haven't even appeared on the Pig and the Hen show for like a fortnight. I'm going to struggle.
People can hear us, I think. I just think it's a bit ghetto, mate. A bit old school, you know? See, that's it. We don't really plan too well on this programme. That's the issue.
Embarrassing from England fans. Embarrassing from English podcasters as well, isn't it, right now?
And that comes from somebody called Crumpet, with a picture of a crumpet as their avatar. Fair play to you. You cannot get more English than that bloke. And he's very disappointed by the English fans, so I feel the exactly the same way you do, Crumpet.
Okay, so let's just go straight into it then. Why do we get this from English fans? Why does this happen time and time again? People label us. I like to say I've liked to have thought that we'd changed our ways. We're not those sort of 70s, 80s hooligans that we once were. But you know what can you say though? It happens time and time again. Is it something in the blood? Are we just English? Do we always have that need to sort of fight and cause issues? Do you know what it is? What I think it is? I think it's because us Brits, we're sensitive. I think foreigners, you know, they're walking along, they're saying whatever they're saying. It might be a bit tongue-in-cheek. They're just sort of taking the piss, bit of banter in their culture. To our culture, it's like, nah, I'm not having that. Nah, fuck that. Isn't it? That is what it's like, definitely. Do you not think?
Yeah,
you get less of that. You don't get an Italian going, you fucking what, mate? you know, you just... He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said there, isn't it? It's different. You know what I mean?
I bet you get some pretty dodgy eye ties, to be fair.
But they just fucking stab you there and then. It wouldn't be any of this proper chest out. You what? You what?
That's it. They'll just straight on Marlon Brando your ass. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to mess around with Italians. But yeah, I think it's a cultural problem from this country. We're full of absolute scumbags. We're not. We know. Well, most people in this country, yeah, exactly. Exhibit A. Most people in this country are sound as a pound, really. But there is that element anywhere in any society, really. But I think in terms of football, you've still got that overspill from the 80s. You've still got, that that drinking culture we've got in this country, which is always aiding these sorts of problems from our fans. Fans go over there. Maybe they don't necessarily intend to get any problems like that, but because they've had 10 beers, they're on the Stella Artois, somebody throws a beer over somebody in a boat and everyone goes, yeah, that seems like a fucking good idea because I've had 10 Stellas. And they all join in. It's a mob mentality. But
it's the sheep effect is what you're saying, which is a proven psychological thing that happens to us as humans. But why does it happen more to British people? That's my question to you. Are we more sheep? Is it because we have always had more sheep in the UK? We are always producers of wool. Aren't we? We have extra sheep. Is that why we have more of a sheep mentality?
Because we're surrounded by
more sheep.
If that was the case, Welsh people would be following us everywhere, mate. Do you know what I mean? If that was the case. But no, it's a shame, isn't it? But I think there's just that element in our society, and they go over there and they're just intent on causing trouble. But it is what it is. It does happen in a lot of other footballing cultures as well. The Italians, nowhere near as bad as the English, but that has happened previously.
If you've got to mention someone, it's the Russians, isn't it? It's the Russians. It's the, what do you call them? They got a special name, and it's not the SAS or whatever, but it's the. Oh, what is it? It's just it slipped my mind.
Putin's
the
ponies.
Ultras, isn't it? It's the Ultras.
The Ultras, yeah.
The Russian Ultras. It's like they're scary people. And considering they're hosting the World Cup, I just hope that nothing happens. Because if you've got these Ultras or whatever that do get a bit leery, it could be bad news. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, the problem as well is that a lot of those other sort of countries round about there, those Eastern European countries, the likes of Croatia and give me some other Eastern European countries.
Lithuania,
exactly, those sorts of
Latvia,
countries.
Romania, Bulgaria.
They've all got ultras.
Do you know what I'm saying? I know those Baltic states.
You know what I mean? If you think Zagreb doesn't have a bit of a football factory going on there, then you're wrong. Turkey, Crumpet says Turkey. There's loads of
Georgia
nations, Galatasaray hooligans and Fenerbahce hooligans. That's just one country. Imagine all of these hooligans meeting up in Red Square over there in Moscow. It's going to be hell on earth. I think when the World Cup starts, it's not going to be good. Russians police, they do not mess around though. They will literally beat you to a bloody pulp. Like Glenn from The Walking Dead, that sort of standards. They don't fuck about. They will basically Negan the shit out of you. They will prove a point. They will go, I'm going to take this guy's head clean off, and that's going to stop everybody else from doing anything. And it works, but it's also very brutal. So anybody who is actually considering causing problems in Russia, I'd think again, because if that doesn't happen, then Putin might put it in you or something. Do you know what I mean?
Instead of being an ultra, just go home, sign up to Now TV and watch The Walking Dead. You know what I mean? Watch Negan beat Glenn's head into pulp, and hopefully that'll give you your fix for sort of, obscene violence. That's all I can say. I mean, Walking Dead though, have you seen the most, you're up to date Walking Dead?
I'm not up to date with
You're
the
not up to date. You're a nobody. You making Walking Dead references and you're not even up to date.
I'm up to date bar one. The last Sunday's episode I have not seen.
I've seen it.
No spoilers, mate. Don't tell me, mate. No spoilers.
Write them spoilers in, because they won't bother me, son.
So everybody who's tuned in the house right now, thanks so much for getting involved with us tonight. And I know we stuck around, kept you sticking around a little bit longer than we had hoped for, and you guys had hoped for. So thanks very much for staying. If you are here right now, do us a favour, chuck us a like on this video. It'd be much appreciated. Everybody who's commented so far, get involved in the comment section. We'll read out as many as we can. We've got a super chat here from Heiko Firestorm Tiger. How's it going?
What a name.
Guten Tag to you, my friend.
Firestorm Tiger. Is that his real name? Come on, mate. Firestorm Tiger. Are you serious?
Come on, that's kind of cool,
that
mate. That's kind of badass.
It's cool. No, what I mean is, are you serious as in, is that your real name? Or he's changed it on Deedpoll, isn't he? I'm not happy with Smith. I don't want to be a Brown. I want to be a Firestorm Tiger.
Firestorm Tiger, you absolute lunatic. His comment is, for your timely and punctual lifestyle. Wow. I think he's being a little bit sarcastic there. We do tend to turn up late, but thank you so much for showing support on the channel there, man. Really appreciate it. Alex Rincon in the house. How's it going,
with
son?
With a $20 bill, mate. $20.
Alex Rincon, thank you very much for that, man. He doesn't mess around. He's had a good week. He's balling over there.
Balling because he saved up from last week. He put it in his little pig. He's got a little pig and a hen kind of
little
bags,
piggy and a henny bag.
And a henny bag. We should make those, mate.
He's got a piggy and a henny bag. Thank you very much, Alex
Saved that for
Rincon.
last week. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
He says he's rich, though. All right, calm down, mate. You know, modesty is the best policy. No, thank you so much there, Alex. You're a legend. Thanks so much for supporting the channel like that. It really does bring a smile to our faces when people support the channel, you know, monetarily. So thank you very much for doing that. And a smile to our wallets, too. No, we don't make very much from this, but what your guys' contributions there, showing support on the channel, enables us to do is gradually improve the technological aspect of this podcast.
Even though
so we
you
will do
forget
that.
to use them because he's fucking sold them, ain't he, for his habit.
I know. I just I was itching for that smack, mate, and I had to just get rid of that microphone. I got 7p for it. But it's
What would that
put it to some
microphone
smack.
actually be able to pay for some smack? How much smack would that be? Fuck all, mate.
know, maybe a nice-
Smack ain't cheap, mate.
Maybe a nice little gummer or something. Crikey.
Terrible.
But anyway, Alex Rudd in the house, he says, I'm not balling like Alex Rincon over here, but he sent us a $2 super chat. Either way, pal, we really appreciate it. So,
No more hen close-ups. Sorry, pal. Do you know what I mean?
Robert Ingram with a $1.99 super chat. What's
In
going
fact,
on with all
you
these
said
guys?
that before. Robert Ingram said that before. No more hen close-ups. It's got an issue with close-ups of me. Jesus, I just put a Gareth Southgate, put a bag on my head, mate, Robert. Fucking hell.
Oh, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. Bunch of
You
legends.
see me leaning back now, don't you? See, you've psychologically affected me.
Yeah,
Fuck's
nice
sake.
gilet you're wearing there
Yeah,
tonight,
it's
mate.
good, man.
What's going
Proper
on?
Tim Sherwood job,
Just
isn't it?
off the boat, are you? What's going on?
Just off the boat.
What's with the
Listen to
gilet,
you,
mate?
listen to
Looks
you.
like a fucking life
It's
preserver.
cold in here, mate. This is preserving my life. I'm in danger of my life whilst I sit here in the pig's abode.
I'm
Because
ridiculously-
This is hazardous. You know, I've mentioned before the fucking nerve attack in Salisbury. We're close, mate. We are close. And this protects me from the nerve agent. Yeah?
Mate, I'm seriously hot now. Do you reckon you could just go over there and turn that heater off, man? Are you cold still? with the gilet on? I'm having all sorts of issues now. We've got talking.
How to switch it off? How do you switch
You
it
just
off?
turn that right knob to the left, you knob. Oh dear. Right, should we get into the podcast then? I feel like we've just come on here. We don't really have an agenda tonight because
Well, there hasn't
not
been
much has been
football,
going
is
on.
there, really,
Yeah.
apart from a little bit of international that nobody gives a fuck about these days. But we should do. I mean, some people do, don't they? I'm sure there's people out there who are just swearing at me right now thinking, why has he just said that? Of course I care about England. And there'll be others out there that be like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about England. It's kind of like that, isn't it? I wish they did a poll. They should do a poll on who gives a fuck and who doesn't. You know, do you give a fuck about England or not?
Gung
Do
Shi.
you give a fuck about England?
Yeah, I give a fuck about England,
I
just
hope
maybe
so.
not as much as I give a fuck about Manchester United. Mostly because England are always bitterly disappointing in major tournaments, and it's hard to. Every single year it comes around, every time it comes around, every major tournament, I think, yeah, these lads can do it. I start to believe, and they just let me down, you know.
But it's different this time round, isn't it?
Oh no, we say this every time. It's not different. It's
No,
different in the
it's
sense that we
different
are
this-
shitter.
No, it's different this time around in the terms that I don't think anybody expects us to do anything in this World Cup.
I
know
don't
what I
think
mean?
they did us to expect us in the last one either.
I think there was
And
more
look-
expectancy.
and
There's
look what happened.
still always been more expectancy.
Alex Rincon, read my chat, Holmes. Hang on, I've had a mare here. He says,
Just a little drink break. Little drink
I'm
break.
kidding, I just love supporting you guys. I don't know if that's the oh shit, we didn't actually read his super chat comment. Shit. Sorry about that, Alex, and thank you, Gungshi in the house. How's it going, Gungshi? Thank you so much for pointing that out. And apologies, Alex. There's four of us, isn't it? His comment says, hey, what the fuck? There's no need for that language got straight off the bat, is there, Alex? He says, what it actually didn't say that was me that said that. He says, WTF was up with starting late. Good to see you back, guys. Henry, how do you feel about Lingardinho benching Dele Alli? LOL.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? It is an interesting one. And I think I even spoke to you the other day, didn't I? And I said that, to be fair, I could completely see why Southgate has benched Ali and Lingard's in there. Lingard scored in the first game for England. He's been on good form for Manchester United, I'd say, for the majority of the season. He's been
Definitely.
backed by Mourinho. He's basically cemented his place, really, in the United frame there. And he looks good. He looks solid. And the trouble with Dele Alli, I think Southgate also wants to kind of get away from egos. And if there is any ego in the England team, then it is Dele Alli, isn't it? He is the one that's like, I'm Dele Alli. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, you don't get that with any of the other players.
Yeah, but you need a little bit of that sometimes, I think.
You
know?
do. I think you do. Yeah,
Little bit
but
of
it's not just
arrogance.
about that. Dele Alli's been
he's
off
not been good
form.
enough, has
I
he?
think
No.
especially the fact that Harry Kane's been injured. He obviously didn't appear in the friendlies for England,
Mm.
and without Harry Kane there, this almost, Southgate, I think, just wanted to try some different shit. So it's going to be interesting to see when we actually get to play in Tunisia. Are we gonna have Kane and Ali starting or not? Because if Kane's starting, you've got to think that Southgate has to be utilising the fact that Ali works well with Kane in the team, and if he's not, then that will be questioned if we don't do well. If Kane doesn't start for whatever reason, if he's still injured or something, or his form completely drops, then you've got to ask, well, is he going to go with what he's done in the friendlies with someone like Sterling, Rashford up front, Vardy, Sterling up front? I think he's definitely really likes Sterling up front, and he likes playing two up front as well. That's the other problem. So if he has Sterling and Kane up there, then what does that mean for Ali? That's the question.
That's the thing. It is going to be tough for him to break into the starting 11 immediately in the World Cup. Things obviously do happen during the tournament. Maybe somebody will pick up an injury or, play themselves out of form. Anything can happen. So you probably will feature quite heavily in the World Cup. But I think right now, Gareth Southgate, fair play to you, pizza bag head. You've done well there because, you could have easily just put Dele in out of principle because he's one of the most established players that England have had and, has been very good in the last couple of seasons for Spurs. And sort of, he does deserve to be in that conversation. But the fact that he's put Lingard in there, who's had a good season, based on form, I think fair play to Gareth Southgate. I actually like what he did with the England team over these two friendlies, the one we had against the Netherlands and the game against Italy. I thought the Italy game in particular, we did actually look pretty good. What I liked is we looked very solid at the back. We've got this 3-5-2 effectively, or a variation of that. But a lot of the time it was basically turning into a 5-3-2 because you had Ashley Young, who was absolutely boss in that game against Italy on the left there, doing a lot of defensive duties, and you also had, who was on the right?
So basically,
Trippier.
And another very interesting. You're right, Trippier,
right? But anyway, let me finish my point here. I was in the middle of the point. I just wanted you to tell me the name of the player. Right. So. Yeah, and then of course we had the three defenders there, but I think Italy found it very difficult to break England down because we had those numbers at the back there. What it did allow Italy to do is sort of control the midfield, which is not what we like. But from England's point of view, we've got all these pacey players up top there who are just ridiculous in terms of counter-attacking speed, get the ball to them on the run, and they can make things happen. I think we've got that in abundance up there. In Lingard. Sterling, I thought, played really well as well, actually. Players like Rashford and, even Dele Alli's not slow, is he? And then, of course, Jamie Vardy played in the Italy game. He's got pace for days. So do you know what? That is just, quite an unreal amount of attacking force we've got there. So it doesn't necessarily matter if you don't have a midfield. We just need to hoof it up the pitch to those lads and maybe they can make it happen. Do you know what I mean? Holy shit balls! Gungshi!
I completely forgot what I was going to say, Gungshi. I had loads of England stuff coming up and I've just been blown away by the audacity to super chat such a phenomenally high, large amount there. You know what I mean?
Holy shit, Gungshi. Gungshi has just super chatted us with what looks like $1,000. 1,000 Taiwanese dollars, but even so, Gungshi, thank you very much. Straight from my heart there, man. Really appreciate that. That's insane support he's been showing us there on the channel. Thank you so much for that, man. And let me read your comment that goes with it. Holy crap.
I know, I'm shocked.
What a lunatic.
What do you want us to spend it on? Do you think that's your money, mate? oh, it's equipment, isn't it? Yeah.
He says, guess what? I was out with my lady the other day and I saw a brand called Pig and Hen. I kid you not. The logo was a hen standing on top of a big pig. Nearly fell over when I saw it. No way, Gungshi. Are you serious? Could you please get that logo to me somehow?
That's where I got the idea from. It wasn't original, was it? Come on.
That's awesome, Gungshi. So there's actually a brand up there. Yeah, he's actually just uncovered our secret sort of, corporation we've got on the go there.
Notice how the hen is on top of the pig. I like that.
Oh, no. Sort of like the hen on top of the ball on Spurs badge,
like
isn't
that.
it?
Yeah, that's what it is.
No, it's not.
Crushing that Manchester United pig at the bottom. I like that. Let's make that logo.
No, seriously, Gungshi, thank you so much for your support on the channel there, man. That is awesome. And Pig and the Hen products, mate. Who knew it?
I like the piggy bank and the henny bank. I like that.
Yeah, well, if ever we grow this podcast to the point where we've actually got people who might purchase merchandise as well, maybe we'll just have a piggy bank and a henny bank.
That's it. Right, I just quickly wanted to say my piece on England, right? So from what I can see, Southgate is all about distribution because we don't have the defence that has the solidity just to kind of sit back and be that traditional defence that stops shit going in. That's not how Southgate wants to play it. We don't have the strength for that. If we were trying to do that, we'd have players like Chris Smalling. We'd have players like Gary Cahill there, and they were obviously omitted. I know that they haven't maybe been on the best of form for club this season, but even so, Cahill, Smalling, these are players that have played for England on several occasions, and for them to just not be there at all, it's quite a brave decision from Southgate. But fair play to him. If you've got Pickford there, Walker, who's got the speed, maybe not the distribution, but he's got the speed. He can link up with Trippier. Obviously, they work together at Spurs in the same position. I think Walker's matured as a player, and I think brilliant. Fuck it, put him in a back three when we don't have that strength and depth in centre backs that can distribute and have got the pace there. And then, obviously Stones, I think he'll go probably with Maguire or Gomez.
Stones was shit in the Italy game, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He was absolutely John Bones.
Shit, but this is what Southgate's trying to do. He just wants us to be able to distribute the ball really, really quickly. So it's all about counter-attacking.
Hey, calm down, mate. Gunshy's got you all heated up here, mate. Calm the fuck down, all right? We're just doing a chilled-out podcast, mate.
Because I'm into this, right? Just doing counter-attacking.
Just enunciate your words.
He's picking. I think it's interesting. I mean, you've got to say that he's probably going to go with players that started both friendlies. So Oxlade-Chamberlain and Lingard potentially could be starting for England.
Yeah, I don't see why he would necessarily have done that and left him on the pitch for a significant amount of time if he's not at least considering that for the World Cup. So I think that lineup, maybe of course without Harry Kane, that we saw against Italy, maybe something quite similar to what we see in the World Cup.
I think he'd drop Rashford for Kane if he did that. So he'd have Sterling and Kane up front. Behind them would be Lingard and Oxlade-Chamberlain. And then you've got either Henderson or Dyer holding, and then you've got the back five, haven't you?
Of course, Vardy's on the bench, of course, just to add that little bit of extra pace, right?
Exactly. Vardy on the bench, probably Dele Alli on the bench.
If Harry Kane's not having a good game, which based on the last international tournament we had, could happen. He's been in an absolutely... It's just our luck, though, isn't it? England's luck. You've got this beast in the Premier League scoring goals for fun. He picks up an injury. I mean, how long is he going to be back into, sort of competition fighting form before the World Cup? Do you know how long is his injury for?
He should be back in April. It's pretty much April now.
Back in April. So he's got a good month or so to bed back in and get that goal-scoring form back into that match fitness, all that stuff. Spider behind us.
He should be fine. I don't think there is.
Yeah, I fell for it, didn't I?
Read that
I fell for it
ages ago. I read that ages ago.
Jackson M, you got yourself a shout out there for making me look.
Remember, dickheads, I can see what's behind me through my screen here, can't I?
I don't know why I fell for that. But yeah, I mean, where England are right now, it's what, like you said, the expectation is not really on us at the moment to go to the World Cup and actually do anything worthwhile. Probably more so or less so since I've been alive, pretty much, has the expectation been as low. I've just turned into a proper Scotsman. But the expectation's very low.
Young trolling now saying no audio, but you could definitely hear me, Kant.
Sort it out. They all say they've got audio, yeah, do one. But he got the shout out there, didn't he? That's the thing. These guys are clever. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean,
he says he can't. Well, it's something up with your speakers, then, mate.
You got the mute button on,
but I can't be fucked.
Turn the volume up on your phone. Yeah, the way England are doing at the moment, I've got a cheeky feeling we're going to win the World Cup, mate.
Are you serious?
Imagine
Shut
that,
up, mate.
Talk about just why not? Everybody's doubting them. They've got these players in there.
Anyone can win the World Cup. Of course they can.
A team lacking
Anything
stars.
Can happen in football.
Guess what? Maybe they'll just perform. Maybe Gareth Southgate will just defend. Make the team defend like lions out there, and then we can hit these teams on the counter attack with our bags of pace up top. Stranger things have happened. Greece won the Euros. Crazy stuff does happen, but of course England are just traditionally poor in major international tournaments. So I don't see it happening. But of course I was just being jovial when I said that. Shane Canning, how's it going, Shane? He comments and says, "Still the best video is of ye watching England versus Iceland."
Penno. Do you remember that shit?
Oh yeah. No, that if you've never seen that, just basically all you have to do is search England versus Iceland. We'll be near the top there because we did get
like 250,000 views.
There was a lot of views on that video. Yeah,
that's basically the entire Icelandic population. If we went there, we'd either be greeted with love, or we'd be treated like
that's it.
Like that woman from Game of Thrones, where everyone's just going shame. Shame. Have you seen that? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I get some.
You don't watch Game of Thrones, but have you seen that scene in Game of Thrones?
I haven't. No.
Where it's what's her name? Headley. It's Lena Headley, I think is her name, the actress, and she's naked, like stark naked, and she's just
good
walking,
show, is it? Good
she's
show?
walking through the city, right? And
Yeah.
people are just chucking fruit and shit at her, and they're just going shame, shame. Shame.
Mate, I don't think this is Game of Thrones. I think this is like
that's
Game.
Game of
I think this is
Thrones.
like Game of Bone or something. You've
No,
been
no, it's
watching
not.
it,
No,
mate.
that's what you've been
Was this
watching.
on? Was this on Pornhub, mate?
No, it
Come
was
on.
not. No, that happens in the show, mate, and it's obscene, mate. It's just weird. It's weird, isn't it? That is weird. Just like a woman just walking through old school city streets.
Mate, how did we get onto this?
Don't know, mate. That's my fuck that mind, isn't it?
Alex Rudd, he says, my first pig video was the Iceland game. There you go. So, you know, it did some good things, that Iceland video, because we managed to get some followers. But, of course, most of them are called Bjornsson or Johnson, and they send me hate mail. So, you know, no, they don't. But thank you, everyone, for finding the channel somehow. Jackson, he says, I will knock on your door in 1 minute. Freaky! That's freaky. Oh, dear. Anyway, what's the next topic then, Henry?
Well, I don't know.
Hotspur?
I mean, you know, England is England. It is just wait and see, and bottom line, it's all well and good going through all these different formations and players. I mean, who gives a fuck? You know, the players need to perform. They've all got talent in different ways. Southgate needs to get the right combination together and just make things happen for England. That's what needs to happen. So you know,
So
fingers
uninspiring,
crossed, get Kane
isn't it?
back in there, and let's hope for the best.
So uninspiring. Shinju Young, he comments and says, love you, pig. Right back at you, Shinju. Appreciate it, pal. Andrew Medhurst, he says, won't win World Cup, no. I mean, I was just joking around when I said that. England have got to be, you know, not even in the top 10 favourite sides, I would say, going into this World Cup to win the World Cup. Maybe just about there. But, of course, it'll be the main teams that are always expected to do well, that will do well there, because they're just great footballing nations, and the way they go about it, everything, the coaching systems they have, just better than what we've got in this country at the moment. Gareth Southgate, you know, he's not a seasoned manager in terms of international management. Of course, I managed the under-21s, got Middlesbrough relegated. You know, it's not like he's really done that much in the world of football. So I'm not expecting major things from him. But I think if he just keeps it very, very, very simple, play it the old simple English way, defend. No, I'm not saying that necessarily formation-wise. I'm just saying defend like lions. Hoof the ball, long ball up the pitch. Get Harry Kane on the ball.
Not how he's playing.
Get Sterling on the ball. Get Rashford on the ball. Get Lingard on the ball. Let them do well. Have a defensive phase. Have an attacking phase. Fuck the midfield. Because we just don't have the players there right now. We don't have the Scholes of Gerald and Lampard, something like that. We don't have the creativity in midfield, I don't think. So I'm just thinking we long ball it out the top. Classic England.
Well, I mean, in some ways you're completely wrong, and in other ways you're spot on. Because in a way that has been England to a certain extent over the last two friendlies, kind of inviting pressure on to a certain extent, not necessarily dominating midfield, and you know, just breaking on the counter attack. England, we have just got such obscene athleticism in the team. That is the best thing of our side. If you look at the athleticism of Sterling, Rashford, Lingard, Oxlade-Chamberlain, they are all physical specimens, aren't they? Which, you know, some nations, they just don't quite have that. So, you know, that speed, that's the key. In a way, Vardy fits in perfectly if we play in the way that he needs, just to get those balls over to him, so he can run onto them, run off the shoulder and score. That's what he's about. Vardy is fucking brilliant. It's almost disappointing that he doesn't just get straight in the team. I think he's that good. He is a top 6 side striker. He's proven it time and time again that he scores against the top 6 sides. I'm surprised he's still at Leicester in some respects.
Yeah, you know, he's stuck around there. I mean, in a way, I'd really love to see us play 4-4-2 with Kane and Vardy up front. If you're a defence, any defence in world football, and you've got Kane and Vardy on the team sheet facing you for the upcoming game, surely you're going to be like, shit, that's going to be a bit of a handful. Not only do we have to watch out for Vardy's pace and his tenacity and dragging the defence wide and all that stuff, you've got to watch out with just Kane's pure brilliance. And if you have both of those players in the opposition box at the same time, and you're putting the right balls into them, giving the right service from the likes of Lingard and those sorts of players, Sterling, you know, if they can do it and not be a headless chicken and actually get a good final product in, then we will score goals, because they are natural goal scorers, both of them. They're really good. So on paper, to me, that sounds like such an attacking, brilliant duo we could have up front there, and it's a shame that we have never really tried that. I mean, the modern game, it's not the 90s anymore. You don't often see two strikers up there together working in tandem, but I think with Harry Kane and Jamie Vardy, we could just make that work. I don't know. What do you think?
I reckon we should just play Tottenham Hotspur, for our England side, because you can almost do it. You can almost do it if you have Kane up front. Okay, let's just slot in Vardy next to him, for example. Then you've got 3 in midfield behind. You know who you have? You have Eric Dyer, Dele Alli, and Harry Winks. Right? All know how to play with each other. All good players. Winks was looking good for England before, so you have those 3 behind. Then you've got Trippier. You've got Rose bombing down those wings. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking pretty much Tottenham Hotspur, isn't it? It's fucking brilliant. Do you not like the sound of that at all?
No,
just stick all those players in and then fill in the holes with the best of other teams.
It sounds good.
Like that.
It sounds good.
As a Spurs fan, yeah, I like that.
We're basically going to finish 5th in a group that only has 4 teams in it. If we do that.
Shut up. Chelsea, a big game coming up. Tottenham Chelsea, 6-pointer really, because at the moment it's 5 points between us, I think, and they have to win it to be able to get in with a shout of top 4, I think now. So hopefully we'll win that one.
Alex Rincon comments and says, England have no creative midfielders. I know. Where did it happen? I mean, what's the best creative midfielder
Jack
we've got right now?
John Joe Shelby.
That's it.
They're the 2 creative boys.
Voldemort and Smoking McSmokerson. Those are the 2 fucking options, is it? Do you know what I mean? Those 2 twats. That's the best we've got to offer now, is it? Crikey. God, I'd bring Michael Carrick in before those melts, I tell you.
He's retiring.
I don't give a shit.
Could be a good send-off, couldn't it?
I'd bring Wayne Rooney out of retirement and drop him deep in midfield before those pricks. I fucking would. I would. John Joe Shelby, freaking Voldemort's cousin.
Fuck off, you.
He's got too much of a hot head, mate.
Fuck off.
He's too inexperienced. He's just going to get himself sent off.
Fuck off. You'd play.
He's going to do some dark magic, and he's going to get sent off, mate.
You honestly saying you play Rooney instead of John Joe Shelby
right now?
Currently,
right now, I would be knocking on Wayne Rooney's door saying, "Please, Wayne, come out of international retirement, play either in a number 10 role or a deep lying midfielder."
Done with England. I can't believe that you still want Rooney in.
Well, so how come he's still doing well for Everton in the Premier League?
He has done well goal scoring wise, but he hasn't looked.
I'd rather have him in my side than Dele Alli this season.
But he wouldn't fit into what Southgate's trying to do. He's trying to build a young, athletic, team.
Of course, I'm speaking hypothetically here, mate. I'm speaking hypothetically. He's retired from international football. He's not coming back. Andrew Medhurst says, because he's crap. If you're talking about Wayne Rooney there, absolutely not. Look at his career. England's all-time goal scorer, Manchester United's all-time goal scorer. No player with those statistics can be crap. I'm sorry. He was the best English player of a generation, pretty much, and in that generation behind Gerrard and Lampard and those guys who were 5 years younger, those sorts of guys. He was an absolute beast back in the day. Yeah, and Stephen Zevon comments and says was. But all I'm saying is...
Exactly.
Yeah, all I'm saying is... Okay, so is it better to have a has-been or a never was, which is what John Joe Shelby is, which is what Jack fucking Wilshere is? They're not even has-beens, they're never was's. Yeah, that's right.
All they are players of a... Right, let's just take the emotion out of it, right, for a second. All they are players that have the ability to play in that certain way. And it's what England are lacking. It's what England are missing at the moment. So that's the discussion.
I'd rather do what you said than play Shelby or Wilshere, though, which is just have Spurs midfield.
Also, I've sold that idea to you now.
I'd rather have, what did you say, Dele Alli in front of Harry Winks and Dyer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds...
fucking brilliant, isn't it?
Definitely, because at least you've got that defensive stability from those 2, and Dele's quite creative. At least there is that. But yeah, I mean, Wayne Rooney...
And then you've got Rose and Trippier who play together.
Wayne Rooney, come back out of retirement, son.
Does that not make sense? Right, no, sorry, right? But does that not make sense to everybody out there? That you've got Trippier and Rose bombing up those wings. You've got Kane up front, and then you've got Ali, Winks, and... I was so on it then, and I've lost my train of thought. And Dyer in the middle of the park there. So that would be brilliant, mate, wouldn't it? The chemistry there would be great.
It would. Alex Rincon, he says, I guess England should play Spurs since England national team is already used to bottling it anyways. It's so true. That's what I mean. If we just have a Spurs team, it's not like we're going to do any better, is it? It's going to do the same, if not more disappointing. So, yeah, I don't really agree with that. But I see what you're saying, man. If you could basically assemble most of the team out of one team in the Premier League that is at the top of the table, then you think you would do well.
We're missing another
Spain have done that over the years.
The Davison Sanchez, Hugo Lloris. We just don't have players like that, do we? So you have to fit them in with like Pickford and Smalling and Cahill and shit.
Spain have done that over the years. Nick June in the house. How's it going, Nick? says, great job, guys. Keep up the great work.
He's always very complimentary, or she is very complimentary.
Thank you very much, Nick, for your support on the channel
nice
there.
things. Very,
much
very
appreciated.
Kind. Sly Carey, €2. It's all right, isn't it?
Sly Carey didn't even comment. Just nothing to say. Just, here's £2.
Euros.
All right, calm down. We're getting semantics here, mate. Who's to say that they don't use quid as a slang term over there? If I said, give me a couple of bucks, mate, would you go, hang on, I better go down to the post office and exchange it so I can give you a couple of bucks? Or would you just give me £2 coins, mate?
You lost me, mate. I just said it was €2. That's what they sent, mate. What are you on about?
Sly Carey says, I do say quid. Well, where are you from, Sly? That's what I want to know, you see, because if you're English, then of course you say quid, because everybody does. Shinju Young says, what is quid? See, this is
I don't know what. Can you hear us now, Shinju Young? You know what I mean? No, we said squid, mate.
Dublin, he's in Dublin. So the Irish, they say quid as well. That's nice to know. Yeah. And he is in a country that has euros as their fucking money, so that's backfired on you, hasn't it?
What do you mean? Why have you turned this?
Because I said a couple of quid. I said no, you have. I said a couple of quid, and you went, "Oh, euros, mate." Trying to,
Yeah, but a euro
condescend to me.
Though, is it? What? So what you're saying? This Irish guy, they call him quids, euros, but no, a quid is a sterling, mate. I'm gonna detest this. I ain't having this. I ain't having you going, oh, they call it quid, so that's fine. Fair enough, they call it quids, but a quid is sterling, isn't it? They've just adopted that.
They've adopted it, yeah.
Adopted that.
That I think that's perfectly acceptable as a slang term. Hang on, didn't Ireland used to have the pound before the euro? Controversial, you tell us.
Well, that's it. So a quid is that you don't have quids anymore because you got euros now.
Before they went join Europe and all that business, did they? Alex Rudd says, we say bucks. Yes, pipe down, Alex. We know you Yanks say buck. That's where I got it from.
Dollar is Thank you very much. I love that song, mate.
Shout out to both the Alexes, by the way. I feel like we've neglected you guys. I've got a couple of tweets from both the Alexes. That's Alex Rincon and Alex Rudd over the last couple of weeks because we've not been able to do a show for a little while. We've been hectically busy. They're always sending nice messages of support, waiting for us to do videos and stuff. So thank you so much for those messages of support, the Alexes, as I like to call them. Alex and Alex.
Right. This Saturday, Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker. Are you excited?
I am excited. I'm always excited when Anthony Joshua's fighting.
Are we going to be doing a show for it?
I think we should, 100%. Yeah, Saturday night.
Yeah.
Saturday night, little bit of a fist fight on the Pig and a Hen show. Yeah, and then we're not even talking about Joshua Parker. I'm just going to batter him up. Oh dear, yeah, you probably used some crazy sort of kung fu shit on me though, wouldn't you?
Joshua win is what people were probably predicting. I think it's going to be a good fight. I respect Joseph Parker. He's undefeated. You got to respect him. He
looks like a hard bastard.
He's got good technical ability. You certainly can't say that he's got a particular weakness for me as a boxer. And I think it's going to be a tough test for Joshua. I think it's going to be a good fight. I'm really excited about it.
Oh, yeah. What an opportunity for Parker this is. Just imagine if he could put up a good show against Joshua, maybe even surprise everyone and get the win. What does that do to Joseph Parker? It just turns him into a star. All of a sudden, everybody in America's interested in him. Everybody in the UK's interested in him. But what will most likely happen is Anthony Joshua will win. I mean, if I have to predict, I'm going for a late stoppage. I'm thinking something like an 8 for a 9 for a knockout or a stoppage there. Come the end of the fight in Joshua's favour because I just think he's very quick. He is technically good. He's so strong and beastly. I mean, so is Joseph Parker, to be fair. And plus, he's just like some hard Maori bastard.
I don't think Parker's going to get knocked out. I think it's going to go to points and Joshua might win, but Joshua will probably win.
But he doesn't have to get knocked out for it to be stopped.
I'm going to say it right now. I don't think Parker will get knocked out. He's never been knocked out in professional or amateur boxing, ever. Parker, right?
Yeah.
Undefeated. Why is Joshua just suddenly going to come along and knock him out? Okay, I know Joshua is the new
because he's knocked everybody out.
The new Tyson, the new Muhammad Ali. Well, let's just wait a second. Let's see how he does against a seasoned fighter like Joseph Parker. It's going to be an interesting one.
It is. I mean, Joshua has fought a couple of pretty significant guys. He did really well against Klitschko. That's the highest profile fighter he's actually beaten. I think, was he on 24?
A fair few. Certainly.
24 fights, 24 KOs, or is it 20 fights? 20 fights, 20 KOs, something like that. He's got a flawless record, but Joshua Parker, obviously very good as well. So
Joshua Parker? He sounds like an absolute...
He's a nutter, isn't he? He's like some sort of hybrid, They've basically genetically modified their sperms in a lab to make one of them feminine and bred them together to make this uber beast.
What about a bit of Anthony Joseph?
Yeah, that didn't work out. He's sort of like the Danny DeVito in Twins, mate. Do you know what I mean? He's like the one that didn't quite.
What about
work
the
out.
Joseph Anthony? Joseph Anthony, that's good, isn't it?
Definitely.
Try and make the best name out of those 4 names, innit? But you could only pick 2.
I think Joseph
Quite a
Anthony's
lot of
pretty good.
multiples, isn't there?
Yeah. Sounds like some sort of Roman emperor. Joseph Anthony. Do you know what I mean?
Joseph Joshua.
Joshua Joseph. That's quite good. Anyway, this is pitiful.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah,
Mohammed Tyson.
but that's definitely a fight that I'm looking forward to this weekend. Joshua versus Parker. I expect Joshua to get the win. That sets up, of course, the biggest fight in boxing for a very long time, which would be Deontay Wilder versus Anthony
But
Joshua.
hang on a second, because Dillian White smashed the fuck, right, out of that brown fella. All right, this isn't racist in any way, but it was. Bottom line, it was white versus brown, wasn't it? It was an interesting one. It was 2 colours, wasn't it? You know, not racial at all, but it's just interesting. It was a colour against a colour, wasn't it? White came out on top.
What are you
obviously.
doing?
Stop it! Do you know what I mean? No, but it's just, nothing to do with that, right? But White came out on top, right? And he is the one that will now come out surely in a fight against Wilder. I think that fight will happen before, because I think Anthony Joshua will be protected. I think he'll beat Joseph Parker, and then Eddie Hearn will offer up Dillian White firstly. That's what's going to happen.
No way.
That's what's going to happen.
No way. Anthony Joshua's already beaten Dillian White. Dillian White, when they were amateurs, fought Anthony Joshua and beat him. First fight for Anthony Joshua against Dillian White, he lost it in the amateurs. Since then, he's just improved. He's won a gold medal. Dillian White, I think, has improved significantly since that loss to Anthony Joshua. But it was quite comprehensive. I mean, he did rock him in like the 3rd or 4th round and had Anthony Joshua in trouble for the first time in his pro boxing career. But he ultimately lost that fight in convincing fashion. I don't think, Joshua is going to put it all on the line after this fight against Parker and say, do you know what, I'm just going to fight Dillian White, who is very dangerous and has improved and could... Who knows what Dillian White could do? I think Dillian White is just a shade off of Anthony Joshua in terms of class and ability.
He sorted his physicality out. He didn't look his right self when he fought Joshua first time round.
He's a bit thicker, wasn't he? Yeah.
I think he looked good. He did look good the other night. It was shadowed by how bad Brown looked. Brown looked completely out of shape. He looked a joke. He looked an absolute joke in that fight.
Yeah, very out of shape for an elite boxer there. But, I mean, he's been there, done that ex-heavyweight champion of the world. So it's still a great win for Dillian White.
Versus Wilder for next, isn't it? White Wilder. That's the next fight.
No, I don't think so. I think...
Why not?
Because Deontay Wilder had that fight with Ortiz in America. Really good fight, by the way. If you're a boxing fan, you haven't seen that because for some reason you don't follow American boxing and whatnot, go and check that fight out. It was really good. Deontay Wilder got rocked in that fight, came back. It was somewhat like the Klitschko-Joshua fight in that sense. Come back to win the fight. And, I think it was a good performance from Deontay Wilder. Before that, I've looked at Deontay Wilder, I've thought he's a big... heavy punching lummox, basically, but he's not really that technical, he's not really that accurate, and I think Joshua's going to pick him apart. But what we did see from Deontay Wilder in that fight is that he is not afraid of a bit of adversity. He can come back. He is tough as old boots. And even though he's maybe not technically the best boxer, he's still a very good boxer, and he throws these crazy awkward punches with so much power behind them. So I think he is gonna. That's the fight I want to see next. Anyway, if Joshua beats Parker, I want to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua in front of 90,000 people at Wembley in like August or something like that. Absolutely set the summer off.
It's all a moneymaker. Basically, Dillian White won his fight, right? UK-based boxer. He will fight Wilder next because Eddie Hearn will do everything in his power to make sure that as much profit and as much publicity goes into the build-up of Joshua Wilder, which I don't think we're going to see this year because they're going to build it up. They're going to build it up. It's going to make more money in a couple of years' time. First up will be Dillian White against Wilder. I'm telling you
that
right
is
now.
A bold statement, mate, but I have to say, I totally disagree with you. I don't see why they would do that. Why would they take all the momentum out of this? Both these fighters have been going towards this point.
Because it's a win-win.
Yeah, but White's not globally known at all. He's not going to have the same draw audience. You're talking about money making. What you're going to do? Build Deontay Wilder up slightly more by beating Dillian White, or kill the cash cow completely by having Dillian White beat him, which could happen. And then you don't have this Joshua Deontay Wilder dream matchup that everybody wants to see. That's what everybody wants to see. Why not have like Tyson Fury's first fight back against Dillian White or something like crazy like that? Why not? Or have Dillian White fight David Haye after this Bellew fight or some shit like that. That makes more sense. I think he's got a great ability. He's not quite up to the level of those guys right now, but he is constantly improving. I want to see him fight Anthony Joshua again in the future, Dillian White. I really do. And I'd love to see him against Deontay Wilder. Definitely. I think he could beat Deontay Wilder. But I do not want to see that before I see the Deontay Wilder versus Joshua fight. That is the fight to make. That's the fight to make from boxing fans' point of view. It's the fight to make from money point of view. You know, they'll make the most money out of that fight. It will be a huge spectacle. Great for boxing, great for British boxing as well. So, yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that's going to happen. Dillian White, good performance the other day. He's still down the pecking order in my book.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe him against Tyson Fury. That could be a good shout if Tyson gets back. It's almost a shame because I like the British boxers. It's almost a shame that it would be Fury against White because if Fury wins, then White's career would pretty much be ended in a way. It would be shit for him, and it would be it'd be shit. And the same, Fury, you want him to win, you want him to come back, you want him to be that fantastic boxer that we saw, that
that's quite a big money fight domestically though, Dillian White versus Tyson Fury. But you make some good points there because if I'm Dillian White, I do not want to fight Tyson Fury coming back. He's way too awkward. You're probably going to lose that fight. Size-wise, he's so awkward and rangy, and he's got this awkward style. It's not a good fight for Dillian White, that one. He could win the fight, but we've never really seen Tyson Fury in too much trouble, even against a great like Klitschko who decked Anthony Joshua to the ground, So, yeah, I don't think Dillian White would want that fight. I think he would rather try his chances against somebody like a Tony Bellew or a David Haye, whichever one wins that fight coming up very soon as well. Maybe Dillian White will challenge them. That's what I'd do if I was Dillian White. That's what I'd be pushing for Eddie Hearn or somebody like that to make happen.
What you have to say is boxing is going in an exciting direction because you had the massive boxers like Klitschko, etc. a few years back, and yeah, they were fantastic. Artistic boxers in
like
some
Klitschko
respects. And who? Brothers, 2 of them. There you go. Fuck you. Right? But it was kind of a bit boring. It was a bit boring. Yeah. You didn't have these big hitters, athletic hitters that you have now that you have popping up. It's it's interesting stuff. It's kind of people are touting Anthony Joshua as possibly the next Mike Tyson, the next Muhammad Ali. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think he's quite there.
Quite up to that, is he?
I think I do have this horrible feeling that the whole Anthony Joshua thing, it is just a little bit overhyped. He's good, but he's not some kind of fucking god. What pisses me off, it sort of pisses me off a little bit actually, Anthony Joshua, I have to be honest. Just a little bit. He just comes across as like, yeah, look at me, I'm fucking Spartacus. I'm fucking Hercules. Innit? A little bit. I know boxers sort of have to be like that, but it sort of pisses me off in a way. Come on, Anthony Joshua, bring it, son.
He is sort of one of the... Everybody's got to have that arrogance and belief about them as a boxer. They all do. But I think, bearing in mind the complete braggadocious nature of that industry, he's probably on more of the modest side of things, mate, to be fair. Anthony Joshua's pretty chill out. I think he still lives at home with his mum in like a 2-bed council house or something. This guy is grounded.
That's what creeps me out about it, that he's such a people's person. Everybody loves him. It's kind of like, do you know what I mean? I guess I'm just jealous, aren't I?
You're jealous, mate. Sounds like you've got a little bit of...
seriously jealous.
Bro gel there.
Yeah. Henry Joshua. Anthony.
Let's make it happen. He's too scared.
Anthony Hotspur.
Stop running, Anthony. But, yeah, I mean, huge... British boxing's in such a great place at the moment. There's so much talent. It's like a couple of years ago, as you were saying, Klitschko, they used to say about him, he's like jab and grab. That's what he'd do. He'd fight people jab, 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 grab. Referee would split and jab, jab. It was a very boring period. He did amazing. He fought every challenger in front of him. I think up until recently, he'd lost to like Lennox Lewis, which is no disgrace back in the day. I think he's only lost a few times anyway, is my point. He dominated the heavyweight division for about 10 years, which is pretty amazing. And he is one of the all-time great heavyweights. And in his prime, you could probably put him up against pretty much anyone who's going to do favourably, and that includes the likes of Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. I think he's a really great boxer. But I mean, if you look at where heavyweight boxing was in the 90s or the 80s, it's getting back to it, but it's not quite there. I would say, like you said about Anthony Joshua, you think he's a little bit overhyped. I think if Mike Tyson was around You know, in his prime coming up, he would knock 7 stages of shit out of Anthony Joshua. If Evander Holyfield was round, so much more technically gifted.
Tyson would batter Joshua, wouldn't it?
That's
Let's
what I'm
be
saying.
honest. He was fucking.
I think he maybe even
put him down.
freaking Frank Bruno would give him a fight. And Frank Bruno was a good British level
I
fighter.
think Lennox Lewis would give him a good
Lennox
fight.
Lewis is, in my opinion,
Fucking
one of the
brilliant
best
boxer.
boxers of all time, you know? Certainly in terms of physicality as well, because what people say about Muhammad Ali, but he wasn't as big as the heavyweights are these days. He was like 15 stone when
I
he
think
was
Lennox
competing,
Lewis
which
is underrated in a way in terms of the top boxers.
He's the
I
best.
think he's up
He's
there.
the best.
Yeah.
He beat Mike Tyson. He beat Holyfield. He beat all those guys. He beat Klitschko.
He
He's
almost
the
doesn't
man.
really get mentioned that much. Pisses me off.
It's
He's
really
a fucking
weird.
brilliant
Yeah,
boxer.
he's the one who came out of finished his career at a high. Finished his career at a high. Did the right thing. Didn't go out on loads of defeats. Didn't stay too long. He got out at the right time, and he's left himself a real legacy. But as you say, for some reason, he's not quite up
I
there.
can't even remember the last time someone said his name. Do you know what I mean? Lennox Lewis, yeah? That's a nutbag. Remember that guy.
Yeah, 100%. He was a beast, but I think he's just enjoying his life, chilling out. But yeah, I mean, compared to then, I think if you take, Holyfield, Lennox, Tyson, and put them up in like a fatal four-way match, tables, ladders, and chairs.
Chuck Conor McGregor in, make a loads of money out of it.
Table, ladders, and chairs match against the modern day lads, Tyson Fury, Klitschko even, Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, Deontay Wilder. I'm telling you, Iron Mike is coming out there with 3 sets of ears in his mouth. He's a
It would be crazy if they did Rumble in the Jungle, but they actually had like an 8-boxer melee or something. It'd be fucking mental, wouldn't it? It's never happened, but you watch it, wouldn't you?
It has happened. It has happened. Yeah, they've got these
What, they're all
crazy.
there, like,
Guess which
from left, right, back, left, right, centre.
guess which nation it is that does this, by the way. Team MMA fights. Guess which nation?
Thailand,
No. Guess which nation?
Vietnam,
No. Guess which nation?
Laos.
I'm just gonna fucking tell you, mate. It's the Russians. Of course, it's the
okay.
Russians. They're fucking insane. Alex Rudd says Russia. Yeah, they have these.
Do they play Russian roulette at the same time as doing that? So they've got a revolver and they can't be fucking.
Yeah, the
mad,
referee's
wouldn't
just
it?
constantly going up, spinning the revolver and pointing at them. But no, they actually do that, and it's ridiculous as well. It's so shit.
Ultra initiation ceremony.
Because basically, as soon as one team's guy, the first guy gets taken down and is out, knocked out, whatever, then the other guys just team up and batter the remaining, people on the opposition side. It is the biggest load of horseshit I've ever seen.
It's a bit horrific, isn't it? Really, there's no
It is.
art to that. That is just fighting.
It's bullshit.
That
yeah.
is fighting.
Just
isn't
team
it?
fighting, like gang fights. But I'll tell you one thing I have seen, which is pretty cool, is like old school, like medieval MMA. Have you seen this?
What with like jousting and shit.
Similar, yeah, but it's in a ring. They've just basically got a sword and a shield, and they're in full armor, mate.
Right.
They're allowed to fucking punch and kick and MMA the shit out of each other.
But
But,
is it
they've also got swords and shields.
Is it a blunt sword? Yeah.
It
So
must be. I
obviously
think it's
you
like
can't
one of
hack
those floppy jalopies, mate. You know all about that. One of those floppy jalopies.
I'd be quite into that though. I love dressing up in fucking metal and shit. It'd be good, mate.
Heinrich Schmidt's in the house with a comment. He says, "Good evening, guys. Good job. Guten Tag." Heinrich, I'm guessing you're
I mean, if
German.
you had a
Thank so much.
medieval weapon of
tuning in.
choice, what would it be if we were on this subject? I like this. I like this.
Gungshi,
I like this
Gungshi.
geeky sort of.
Let me just read Gunshi's comment here. Gungshi, our friend over in Taiwan, an absolute legend. He says, "That sounds brilliant, like Viking stuff." Yeah.
Gunshi's. So that would be your outfit, Gunshi, would it? You go for the Viking look, the horns on the fucking helmet and everything, yeah?
That's it. If I could get into one medieval sport today, though, I think it would be jousting, One of my favourite films is A Knight's Tale, yeah, with Heath
Yeah,
Ledger.
but it's not a good ending, is
Fucking
it?
what are you on about,
Well,
mate?
no, I
Not a
mean,
good
if you get dicked on in
Oh, right, I
jousting,
thought you meant the
your
film,
fucking
'cause the
neck
film's fucking awesome.
broken, and it's, fuck jousting. I do archery.
It is dodgy,
Yeah.
mate, and then you can get splinters in your eye from the end of the jousting stick.
I reckon archery's your best bet because you can shoot cunts from far.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
don't get hurt, do you, unless they come up next to you. Do you know where that comes from? Educate some of you people out there.
I
I'm
do.
sure
I
people
do know
will
that, mate. I know that.
Do you know what? Go on then. You
I
explain
think
because I know what
I
it is.
think it was when William.
Sorry for swearing to
I believe
to out there.
it could be a different period in time, but I believe it was William the Conqueror who came over from France and just decimated England, and he would cut off the 2 main fingers of the English bow. archers.
Longbowmen?
Longbowmen.
Yeah, get it
That's
right.
it. The 2
Yeah.
main fingers, the firing fingers, so they wouldn't, were not able to fire. Is that somewhere correct?
Something like
Was
that.
it William
yeah.
the Conqueror?
No, but what it is obviously the archers when they were taunting the enemy would be doing that, wouldn't they? It's like, fuck you, I still got my fingers.
That's
basically what it is.
That's where that came from. Yeah, the
That's
swear
what it
word.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's for the other kind of sport. I've still got one of them, you punk, you cunt. And that's what that is.
You got this one. You ain't taking this one. Yeah, man. So what would be your medieval sport of choice if you had to compete tomorrow? Just archery?
Well,
it's a bit boring though, isn't it? They've got that around now in the Olympics. It's boring.
What other medieval sports are there? You know, is jousting or archery or sword fighting?
Little bit of pig skin. Do you know what I mean? Kick a pig's bladder around into a hole.
That's I don't think so.
They did stuff like that, mate. They did. That's basically football. Yeah, that's basically where football came from.
What part of the army would you be in? Because jousting would be you basically the cavalry, wouldn't you, or some shit?
Yeah, if I had to be in the army, 100% I would choose to be an archer because you just get to chill, don't you? The only way you're getting
I'd be in a territorial army because you don't really need a fight, do you?
That's it. Alex Russ's ancient sport of curling. I guess they probably did
what
do
weaponry would you have? That's what I want to talk about. What would you go for the shield? Would you go for the two-handed sword? You can see I played too much of that Dungeons and Dragons shit back in the day.
I think I'd go for an AR-15 assault rifle, mate. That'll separate the men from the boys.
Did you know, as a geeky kid, right, I used to have this dream. I dreamt if I had a time machine, I'd go back in time, right, to like, I don't know, I'd look up a bit of history and I'd look up an army that I felt really sorry for and they're fighting for a good cause and they get dicked on, basically. They get absolutely decimated. Something like 300 or something, do you know what I mean? But I'd go back to that time and I'd be armed to the teeth in the latest fucking technological shit that is known to man. And absolutely just blow away the enemy and everybody would be like, this guy is an absolute god. You know, fuck you, Anthony Joshua, check me out. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny you say that, man. I always have thoughts like that. I always think, what if I just got stuck in the Middle Ages and I had like a Land Rover Discovery? Like, nobody's getting to me, are they?
Assassin's Creed shit. Is that what that game's about? I'm buying it. No, brilliant. I didn't know that was like that. But, okay, so if you had a machine gun, if one of them longbow men would have to take you out, but if you
eventually you'd get hit.
But you could basically just, you know, the Romans, they do their fucking turtle thing and you're like, fuck you,
I'll tell you what would be fun. I'll tell you what would be fun is if you just went to like a tank museum before you transported back to the medieval times, and you just got yourself in like a nice little tiger tank or something. That's just gonna fuck everybody up.
You wouldn't know how to operate it, would you?
Doesn't matter. You just get in there. Nobody can harm you. How can they harm you? What are they gonna do? They're gonna do nothing.
They just break in there. They just set up a fire around the tank. You burn inside, wouldn't you?
You've got petrol, mate. You can drive yourself out of there. Let's just say you've got an unlimited supply of petrol.
Going to last you?
Well, you just have to carry extra with you, don't you? Preferably not on the outside of the tank.
In fact, to be honest, a machine gun would be absolutely useless, wouldn't it, back in medieval times? Because you'd only have a certain amount of shots and then you run out of ammo. There's no way that you're going to be able to make an ammunition factory, is it? Back in 1066 or some shit, you know?
Hand grenade would be
or
pretty
456 BC or whichever time floats your boat.
Get the old hand grenade. What would you do if you just went back with a Bic lighter, though, and you just went, all right, everyone, yeah, my name is Jesus. And I'm back. Fire. Do you know what I mean? They're going to freak out. They're going to freak out. Or anything like that. Any little trick you can do. Basically going to make you the David Blaine of the time.
That's it.
What would be the first thing you would do if you went back to medieval times, Hen?
Fuck some medieval bitches.
I didn't think you were going to say it. I did not think you were going to say it, but you did.
Why? Is that what you obviously thought I was going to say that? Because you'd already thought of that. So I should have referred to them as bitches. That's wrong. You know, I'm not into dogs. Yeah.
Oh dear.
They were fucking all eating.
I don't know.
That right.
I don't know what the personal hygiene was like back then, mate. You might have some issues. You're gonna have to get in the bathe in a river for a little while first, I think, to be up to your standards. Maybe take a pair of hedge trimmers back with you. Gungshi says he applauds your honesty, Hen. That's some medieval bitches.
What would you do then?
Well, you know, I'd probably just go down to the market, buy some nice, fine gear, go around, you know, try and learn the loot, something like that. No, I'm not a scumbag.
You'd go and loot.
I'm not some sort of scumbag.
I'd be trying to court women and you'd be looting. Who's more of the gent? You know what I'm saying?
That's not what he said, mate. Do you know what a lute is? It's fucking musical instruments.
No, looting. It's robbing and that. What are you on about? Oh, you mean that? I thought you meant you go looting.
No, I'm not just going to go looting, mate. I'm not going to go back to the Middle Ages. What am I going to do? Rape and pillage? Yeah. No, mate. That's basically what you were thinking.
That is the first thing that came to your mind. Admit it.
That's what you were thinking. But no, I don't know what I'd do, mate. I think I'd just freak out, actually, and try and get the fuck out of people's way, basically. Go and live in a forest somewhere. It would be
weird, but nobody would talk the same language as you. You'd be talking like this, and they'd be like, you know, thy art thou, what's art now?
You fummit covered Kirpin, sire. That's actually Middle English, by the way. I remember that for some reason. We had this guy come in at my
You'd
middle
just be
school.
walking around saying that, trying to fit in.
I'm pretty sure a fummit-covered Kirpin means a shit-covered chicken in Middle English. Look
You're
that
trying
up.
to mug me off here on the show in medieval style.
That's it. But yeah, let me know what you guys would do if you went back to the Middle Ages. Interesting talking point we got into there. This is what happens during the Pig in the Hen
We'd
show.
have the Pig in the Head show, but we'd just be sat, wouldn't we? There, like, you know, the little square, the pebble stones around the little centre of the village or some shit.
Yeah.
People listening.
Like that Game of Thrones shit, throwing fruit and veg at
Casually
us.
throwing fruit at us and that. Chuck a like on this
Oh,
stone.
No, the truth of the matter is, unless we work armed
Subscribe
to
to
the
this
teeth,
stream.
unless we work armed to the teeth, there's no way we survive very long down there. I don't think. Because they'll go, who is this fucking weirdo wearing denim, which we've never seen before, talking like this? He must be from like, you know, somewhere near the Crusades or something. Where is that? Where were the Crusades? Middle East.
So you're the king, mate. I'm the king. I'm King Richard. Lionheart. Yeah. Get me.
There you go. Right. Should we wrap it up there, mate? I feel like
Well,
we're
I
sort
think
of
we sort of have
running out of shit to
we're
talk
sort
about.
of avoiding the elephant in the room, which is a massive game. People have been commenting. Have you read the comments? There is a massive game coming up between two teams that we love.
Are you talking about Tottenham Hotspur?
Yes. And,
Why do we love them?
And who
Chelsea.
do you love?
Oh, right, okay, I see what you're saying. Manchester United versus Swansea at the weekend.
No,
You make it very
Manchester
clear.
United versus who?
What the fuck
Well,
are
who
you
do
talking
what?
about?
What, the two teams that we love? Who are they?
Oh, okay, you're talking about the fuck up.
Yes, of course I am. Of course I am.
The fuck
I
up.
presented the elephant on top of your face.
I just didn't understand. You need to make yourself a bit more clear, mate.
No, that's
You were saying
code,
we've got a
mate.
couple of games coming up this weekend, didn't you? Didn't you
I
start
didn't
it off
say
like
that.
that?
That's not what I said.
Well, I said that, and then you
I
elaborated on it and
was just
confused
talking
me.
about an elephant in the room.
Okay, well now I'm talking about a prick in the room, and that's you.
Fuck
So
you.
don't try and belittle me, mate, just because you can't speak properly and make things clear. You know, this weekend, the game coming up now. Why are we just skipping games and going on to the FA Cup, mate?
Alex Rudd's fault. Honestly, he's already said sorry.
But yeah, let's just talk about that briefly. Tottenham versus Manchester United FA Cup semis. Are we going to watch that game on here, mate? Are you going to come round and watch this game?
What night's it on?
What's the date? What is the date?
It scares me. We sort of have to, don't
You
we?
basically got to, mate.
Massive
You've got to
build
come
up,
round.
really. I'll try and get the night off or something.
You've got to come
have to
round.
try and sort something.
And if you can make it Saturday night for this boxing event, then
We'll
we
do
should
a
try
bit.
and do
We'll
that.
do a bit of boxing.
Well,
Yeah.
one thing I did want to mention, actually.
We're going to dick you at Wembley. Let's talk about Wembley. I quickly want to
Well, thanks
talk
very
about
much,
Wembley.
mate, just for fucking talking over me
Sorry,
there. Go on then, you rude prick. Carry on.
Do you feel it's an unfair advantage that we get to play at Wembley?
I do, actually, yeah. do.
I disagree.
You would.
I
You would.
disagree, right? Because I feel like we have been playing away from home all season, right? Just because we got a little bit used to Wembley, yes, you could see that as a slight advantage. But in terms of our footballing season, right, we've had to play away from home all season. So we've had our difficulties, and okay, why can't we have a little bit of an advantage? Over the whole course of the season, I reckon that's fair enough. Absolutely fair enough.
But that's
I don't have an issue with it.
that's
It's
what
not
it is.
our home. It'll be 50-50 seating.
And why don't you just
telling
copy
me
Alex Rudd's
Manchester
comment there?
United can't just turn up at Wembley? You didn't turn up at Wembley in the previous fixture, though, when we dicked you 2-0, wouldn't it? Fucking love that. Absolutely controlled you. Let's hope that happens again. What worries me is people like Lingard and Rashford sort of look all right at the moment, don't they? They're going to be confident with their England involvement, and that may carry over to Tottenham, whereas players like Dele Alli, are we going to see a reaction from him? It's going to be a massive game in some ways, because England essentially is based around the best of Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur, because in fact Manchester United does have a lot of English talent at the moment. Of course it does. You've got a little bit of Liverpool, a little bit of Man City, but certainly United and Tottenham are well represented in that England setup. So lots of interesting things to see. Definitely.
Henry Hotspur's Cod Shit Corner. Sorry, mate. Sorry, but yeah, to go back to it, I think you know, it's going to be a exciting game, that one. I think Spurs don't necessarily have much of an advantage. Who knows Wembley Stadium more out of Spurs and Manchester United? Okay, Tottenham have played there this season, been a bit ropey. Manchester United actually get to the latter stages of competitions historically and win things. I think we're a little bit more adept at handling the pressure at a cauldron like Wembley than Spurs are. So if anybody's got the advantage on that one, then it is not you.
Do you know what? I just don't even want to kind of say anything before the game. I am that nervous about it. Classic Tottenham mentality. Let's just see what happens. I'm happy either way, even if we lose. That's not true. We need to be destroying you again. And we can do. We can do. We have been... I think we've been the better side this season in terms of footballing, but obviously you've been the better team statistically. So we'll have to see what happens. It's going to be an interesting one, but we did dick you before. Let's hope that happens again.
Alex Rincon with another super chat. Thank you very much, Alex. His comment to go along with it says, you don't beat Mourinho twice. 2-0 to United. So true. You know, he's a technical master.
Thing is, Newcastle, St James's Park, they always seem to beat Mourinho more than twice, isn't it? I don't think he's ever won there. So, you know, I think Mourinho, in some ways, he does have his issues from time to time.
James Arnold with a super chat. He says, United to beat Spurs 3-0. I love your prediction there, James. I've got a feeling we're going to decimate them. I think the last game was just a freak occurrence.
I hate this because there's so many more United fans on this channel than Spurs fans, and I'm completely underrepresented here. I do not like this situation that I'm putting time and time again on the Pig and the Hen show.
You're just going to have to get used to it, mate, because that's basically how it is in life. You know, if I'm a business owner, I've got two candidates coming. One of them's a Tottenham Hotspur fan. One of them's a Manchester United fan. Who do you think I'm choosing, you know? And that's not because I'm a Manchester United fan. It's because if I had somebody in my presence who was a Spurs fan, I'd think they've got a serious lack of ambition. I do not want that person in my company.
Are you fucking serious? Listen to you.
It's true though, you Spurs fans, man. Oh, fifth again. That's decent. There's always next year.
No, we don't have that.
At least we're above Arsenal.
Do not have
at least
that
we beat Real Madrid. At least we finished top of the Champions League group. It's all at least. You should call yourselves at least Hotspurs. Do you know what I mean? You're shite.
Nah, bullshit, mate. Bullshit. You watch this space. Tottenham, fantastic team. Love them.
Yeah, that's it. I think we should pretty much wrap it up there, mate.
Well, let me just quickly check my notes, just in case there's something that
hang on. There's one thing I want to talk about before you rudely interrupted me earlier when we were on the boxing thing, right? Which is Anthony Joshua potentially being sort of poached from Eddie Hearn's promotion to go over and represent not the UFC, but somewhat of a company owned by the UFC, which is a company called Zuffa Boxing. Now, since McGregor versus Mayweather, there's been this whole Zuffa Boxing banner, which I think is the UFC's attempt to create a sort of governing body within boxing, which is pretty much like the UFC, because of course in boxing at the moment, you've got all these independent guys, you've got these different governing bodies, it's quite difficult to keep track of it, you've got the WBO, WBA, all these different ones, and IBF, all these different governing bodies around the world, and all of the money goes out of the sport. All of the money goes out of the sport. It's going to the fighters, it's going to the promoters, it's going out of the sport. And a lot of it as well. Whereas if it was like the UFC, where they've basically got a company controlling everything, putting on these fights, paying these guys... What?
City, isn't it? Man City. I just saw Alex Rudd just commented.
On what, on my show?
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah, I should burn this actually. It does sort of resemble a City show. But that's very rude of you, Henry. I was just talking there, mate.
Well, this
really
is a proper
points.
Tottenham gilet, isn't it? The dark blue and the white, 100%, isn't it?
It is, man. You're proper Tottenham up right now. Fair play to you. But anyway, yeah. What do you guys think about that? $500 million. Apparently, this is a rumor that he's been offered over like a 8-fight deal or something over the next 5 years. Which, to be fair, if somebody could get him on that sort of contract, they're immediately going to get all these millions of eyes on it. So it's not the silliest idea in the world because you can promote the shit out of that. But then you're going to have to sign all these other big heavyweight boxers to keep people interested. It sounds like $1 billion investment there. But if anybody can do it, it would be the likes of Dana White, the likes of the UFC corporate people, all those guys in there. WING, I think, who owns it. So they would be able to do that. But I mean, I don't see it happen. I don't think Anthony Joshua would be up for it. But $500 million, if somebody just said, Anthony, here's $500 million, we've got you for the next 5 years. Wouldn't you rip their hand off if you're Anthony Joshua? He's not going to get that sort of money for Eddie Hearn, I don't think. You know, because all the money is going out of the sport. Whereas if it was like the UFC, but boxing, where you've got this, it's not even a governing body, it's just like a promotion. It's an individual promotion, but all the money's going back into that promotion and to the fighters, of course. So, I don't know, it seemed to work for the UFC, that model, in terms of the MMA. They're the only ones to really do it globally. Of course, Bellator are coming through.
I don't give a fuck what they do. The important thing is that it doesn't spoil the sport, so that we have boxing and fights for belts. This all makes sense. You know, you don't want to just have too many different layers of different different kind of authorities and shit. It's just, you know, that will fuck it. It's like the idea of having a Super League in football. I'm not talking Chinese Super League, obviously. I'm talking like a Super European League or something, which would be shit. Keep the Champions League, keep that how it is, definitely.
But what you can effectively do is have like Anthony Joshua is the UFC boxing champion or the Zuffa boxing champion, yeah, and then he's fighting Deontay Wilder, who's the IBF boxing champion.
The trouble is, you're just adding another fucking you champion, aren't
you?
You
are, but they've already got this model, this business model.
Well, then that's going to just be how it goes.
Maybe that's how it goes, but maybe not. I mean, either way, I don't really care. I think what will happen if that happens, though, is you will get to see the fights that you want to see, compared to the fights what the promoters want to make, the managers want to shield their fighters. Like you say, Anthony Joshua has had a reasonably easy road up until now, you know, with the opposition that he's faced. That wouldn't necessarily happen in that. They basically have to fight whoever that promotion would say they are going to fight because they're under contract. Yeah, anyway, bit of a pointless topic, that.
I just wanted to end on Australian cricket. What an absolute embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment. I know you're not so into your cricket.
I've heard about it, yeah. Somebody's been tampering with their balls.
3 players obviously been banned from the international side, admitted that they've been involved with ball tampering. What I don't understand is, you know, those guys are not the bowlers. So they've organised this ball tampering for the game. Surely the bowlers, you know, have to be involved or have to know what's going on. That makes no sense at all. If they don't know, when they pick up the ball and it's been tampered with, that's their tool. They're going to know that something's happened, and how is that going to benefit the Australian side if the bowler's not even ready to have a tampered ball? That makes no sense at all. So for me, there is more shit than meets the eye behind this Australian cheating scandal and what's happened there. Obviously, Steve Smith stripped of the captaincy. He's not going to be playing international cricket. He was pretty much crying in his press conference the other day, and I don't blame him. It's how stupid when you've had that many performances. You know, you've played for your country. You know, you're a respected international cricketer. You know, top man, and he's absolutely stained his face, his name, for eternity.
It's terrible. It's so stupid.
Why? Australia, you're a top cricket side. Why are you trying to cheat? It blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind.
What did he actually do to the ball? Do you know? Did he rip something on it? Add something to it?
Basically, you know, it's a classic thing in cricket where bowlers sometimes want it slightly weighted. So if you're tampering with the ball, so that you're getting one side, so that it's actually losing a bit of its mass, essentially, then, you know, that can benefit the bowlers, because it's not a true rounded
more
cricket
of a wonky wobbler,
ball anymore. It's a bit, you know, it can do different shit. So, you know, you're not allowed to kind of just, you know, proper rub the ball. Or it's interesting because apparently I was listening to Darren Gough the other day, but Atherton once, I think it was Atherton anyway, may not have been Atherton. One player, he picked up the ball innocently and had a bit of gravel there, because he always got sweaty hands, like real sweaty hands. So he just wanted to, you know, dry his hands off a bit with a bit of grit, I guess, and with the ball. And he got in trouble about that. You know, people accusing him of cheating. And I don't think he was cheating at all. I think that's just his naivety, you know. But that's how much of a big deal it is fucking around with these balls.
It happens in other sports as well, to be fair. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It happened a year or two ago in NFL over in America, American football. I can't remember who it was. One of the main guys, though, somebody like Peyton Manning or Tim Tebow or some quarterback guy like that, it happened to. But basically, there was ball tampering that happened in the game, and that somebody released the air from a ball. One of the players released the air from the ball, so it's softer, so it's easier to catch, apparently. So for the last play of the game or something, he's just gone over, squeezed a bit of the air out, so it's softer, it's easier to catch, and made it easier for them. And they've got in a lot of trouble for it as well. You'd never really see that happen in football, though, do you?
Tom Brady, New England Patriots. That must
there
be
you go, Alex Rincon, Tom Brady, the New England Patriots. You cheating bastard! No, but that happens, though. That sort of thing happens. Could that happen in soccer? Oh no! I just said soccer. Shoot me! Shoot me now!
Shoot you definitely. I think, you know, obviously there's cheating in all sports, isn't there? You know, you've got diving, you've got all sorts going on, right? But I think the cricket thing is far more scandalous, because that is a premeditated attempt at cheating in a sport, isn't it? It's a team effort to try to cheat to make it easier for you to win. I think that is quite sinister and wrong. Very much so.
I love this guy's name and avatar, by the way. He's got a picture of Chef from South Park, and his actual name is Chocolate Salty Balls. Who doesn't remember that banger from the 90s?
I love South Park.
So I call my chocolate salty balls. They're packed full of fiber. They're good for you. So suck my balls. Every word's still up here, my friend.
Brilliant. I love South Park. I fucking love that show. It's brilliant. It's very current, isn't it? They always keep up to date with the shit that's
Do
going
you know
on.
what is crazy though, right? South Park. You know Isaac Hayes, the old soul singer. Was it soul? Old singer anyway. Did some classics. Didn't he do like War and stuff like that? Mate, you've got a phone call coming through here. What's going on? You gonna silence that? Bit unprofessional, is it?
I'll just go and answer it. And we're pretty much wrapping up here, aren't we? Hello.
But anyway, what I was talking about is Shaft. That's it. Who is the man who give his life for another man? Shaft. Right on. That's the one. So Isaac Hayes, legend, of course. I think he died in real life. He was the voice of Chef in South Park. Fair play to him, you know. Nice to see he's had a career after music there. But I don't know what happened with him in his actual real life, but I think they wrote him out of South Park in a bit of a crazy way. I think they basically said he turned out that character, the chef at the school, turned out to be a paedophile. Didn't he?
Who turned out to be
That's what they did. Yeah, they just said, Chef's gone now. Chef's gone. What happened to Chef? What happened to Chef? Well, the kid's best friend, a chef at school. Oh, no, he's in prison now because he's a mass pedo.
It's all
That's what they did.
show, isn't it? But
That's
it's a lot of tongue-in-cheek shit. It's a lot similar to some of the shit that we say on here, isn't it? Let's be honest. Stuff's come out of our mouth that's unacceptable.
You might say with your medieval rape.
I did not say rape. It'd be consensual medieval fuckfesting.
Oh, God. Just be like a crazy Roman orgy or something. Is that what you're saying? You know, all parties willing. No, I ain't interested in that, mate. Right. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up on that. You know, not just figuratively, I mean. Thank you.
Of course. Join us again on Saturday for Joshua Parker. It may be a late start again. We will try to, but then again, the boxers should be on late, shouldn't it? So we should be able to make it certainly for what 10. It's going to be like a 10 p.m.
Yeah, 10 p.m. 10 p.m.
So I don't see that being an issue. So
no.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for participating, Henry Hotspur. It's been a great show.
At all. It's been a pleasure.
Everybody out there who has tuned in, thanks so much for stopping by.
Nice to be back.
Do us a favour, chuck a like on this video. If you happen to be new around here, subscribe to the channel. Everybody who sent in some sort of a super chat to support the channel, absolute bunch of legends. I'm looking at you, Gungshi. I'm looking at you, the Alexers. I'm looking at you, James Arnold. I'm looking at you, Jack and Brad Gaming. Don't think you were here tonight, mate. Who else? All of you, that's what I'm saying. There's plenty of you out there, so thank you so much for your continued support on the channel. Sorry we kept you waiting around tonight for a period of time. Next Pig in the Hen show is scheduled for next Thursday.
Thank you, Shinju Young, by the way. Thank you for accepting the banter. Still
Shinju
watching
Young,
along, trying to mess up the show, saying the audio's broken and stuff. What are you about, mate? You're some sort of weird troll, but you're like a likeable troll. You want a little stroke at the end of the show, don't you? Sort of, you know, you're still watching. Thanks, mate. Let's have
a little shout out to the people who didn't send any super chats. You know, the guys who aren't sitting in their ivory towers. Thank you so much, everybody who got involved in the comment section as per usual. The interaction on these things is out this one, so we love doing them.
I want to see Gunshies in Rincon's ivory towers now. Go on, send us in your pics of your ivory towers.
That's it. We'll call it Pig in the Head Cribs. We'll do a special expose on it on the channel. But everyone, you can follow Henry Hotspur on Twitter, Henry_Hotspur. It's going to be new things coming from Henry, actually, because am I allowed to talk about your personal situation?
Yeah, go on, then go for it. You say it, then.
So basically, Henry's been signed up by Brazzers, and he's he's going to be on their website doing all sorts of medieval shit.
I'm already on there. No, better not actually, because people will leave and try and look for it.
Sorry, I apologise. Right, Henry is being signed up. No, he's not being signed up by anybody. I apologise. He's moving to China in a few months' time, right?
Well, that's the plan anyway. Not absolutely set in stone.
It's pretty much there.
Pretty much King Arthur's sword in there standing.
And where are you looking? Where are you looking at moving?
A city with the 4th tallest building in China. So you know you can guess yourself.
Okay, so what's the name of the city? Because I'd say Beijing. If I had to guess, 4th in the world, it's Beijing, isn't it?
It's Guangzhou.
Guangzhou.
My pronunciation might be shit, to be honest, because I'm not Chinese myself. But that is the city that I will be moving to.
Okay,
which will be interesting. The Pig in the Hen show will go on.
We'll continue. It just have to be...
With all the super chat money, we will have the money necessary to be able to deliver good Pig in the Hen show, even though we're not actually able to smell each other.
That's it, which is a bonus. So, because that breath's shocking. Carabao City.
Yeah, you love it. That's why I do it now, just to piss you off.
But the show will go on. But anyway, the reason I wanted to talk about this is we were talking about it the other day. Henry looking at moving to Guangzhou. They've got a couple of teams there. One of them's called the Guangzhou R&F. That's their actual name. And their sign has an R and an F.
Sven Goran Eriksson managing
No
there.
Chinese writing involved there. It's Guangzhou R&F. Very English football team. And I think what does it stand for? It stands for like richness and fuckery or something. What does it stand for?
Some rubbish.
Anyway.
It's kind of like they moved around cities. They don't really have any kind of history as such. But Sven used to manage there. Yakubu used to play for a bit there. They've got some Israeli international that's banging in the goals for them at the moment in the Chinese Super League. So I'm kind of just looking.
And they're
into
kind of like
a
a
little
Tottenham
bit if I'm
Hotspur,
moving
aren't
it.
they?
I'd be interested to sort of follow a side. Well, I would say like a Tottenham Hotspur. They don't
Well,
have the history.
just underachievers.
But then you've
you know
got
what I mean?
Guangzhou Evergrande as well, which is the the main team out there. They've won the last however many leagues in a row.
And they're playing red, so they're like the Manchester United of the Chinese league.
Well, there we go. So it'd be interesting to get a season ticket or something. But I don't know. I'll probably be working, so I might not be able to do that. But I will. What I will be doing, I'd like to think. Hopefully, I'll have the time to squeeze in some kind of YouTube channel of my adventures out in the Far East. There, if that floats your boat, Ganshi, I'm coming closer. I'm coming for you, mate.
So the bromance continues. But yeah, Henry's thinking about doing some adventure blog channel over there where he explores China, that sort of thing, and also maybe even following his football adventure.
And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get settled down there, and then we're gonna start a donation fund or something, like a charity fund for the pig, to get the pig out to reunite with the hen, get him out to China. You know, but he needs encouragement. Get him out there, I say. Then we could do the pig and the hen from hot, sweaty Guangzhou.
But anyway, the reason I brought this up, I just wanted to let these guys know. Well, more so, we find out what they think. Who should Henry Hotspur support? Bear in mind, he's a Tottenham Hotspur fan. Bear in mind, one of the teams over there has an English name, which is the Guangzhou R&F, if you want to call that an English name.
I've already picked R&F, mate. There's no point.
What do you mean you've already picked
asking
R&F?
these people.
What's wrong with the Evergrande,
Because I
mate?
don't want to just be a glory supporter. They've won every single season
But
for however long.
Surely you're going to get high quality of football there. It's not like you're born and bred Guangzhou freaking R&F, is it?
Yeah,
You've got a choice.
But it doesn't matter. I'd rather just go to the smallest stadium and the underachievers. You know what I mean? Sven used to manage there. That does it for me.
Typical Spurs fan. Typical fucking Spurs fan. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, no, fair play to you. We'll wrap it up there. But as I was saying, everybody who's tuned in tonight, thank you so much for
I'll get
getting
you an
involved.
Evergrande shirt if I can find one that fits.
Probably in Asia you won't be able to, mate. You probably have to stitch two together, to be fair. But there's plenty of sweatshops out there, so you probably make that happen. Anyway, thank you. I don't know if that's true. Thank you so much for tuning in. Legends, have yourself a good one. Follow me on social media as well at Mr. Flying Pig HD on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. In fact, follow me on Instagram. It's like I don't post shit to it, but I haven't got as many followers on Instagram. I want more Instagram
Do you know the new
followers.
thing that you need to get on is the Chinese thing? It's WeChat. And do you know how many people live in China?
What's that? Like chat roulette or something? Like some
No,
sort
no,
of
it's just-
webcam
it's
to
no, it's
webcam
just-
peer-to-peer porno thing you're
No.
on about again, mate?
Shut up, mate. WeChat is just their
You're
version.
obsessed.
WeChat is their version of all that we use, like all the Twitter
Like
and,
WhatsApp.
and the WhatsApp and shit, right?
Right, yeah, that's
so,
what I've heard.
you know, there's a lot of people out in China.
So
mate.
can you
A lot of
answer me
people
this,
out in
Henry? You
China.
know, like Facebook's banned in China, YouTube's banned in China.
Yeah.
Guessing WhatsApp's banned in China.
I don't know, to be fair.
Why are they allowed WeChat? And why is it called WeChat when it's in fucking China? Why is it not called
Because
Guangzhou?
China, I guess, want to make sure that their own things, their own digital software and applications is the mainstream ones for their own country. That makes sense, doesn't it? They're controlling the digital market.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit crazy, mate. It's a bit of a crazy state over there. To be
Raycon
fair.
knows about the WeChat,
Yeah.
but of course he does in his ivory tower. He would know about WeChat. He knows about everything. He knows about Bitcoin. That's how you made your money, mate, isn't it?
He probably set up
Bitcoin.
WeChat.
You know, when someone told me about Bitcoin back in 2014, I was thinking, no, that Rincon was back on this on 1994, mate. You know what I mean?
Right, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for tuning in. So just to clarify, Pig and the Hen Show Saturday night, Pig and the Hen Show next Thursday. That's the schedule for the upcoming days. Of course, I'll be doing my match reaction to the Swansea United game coming up the
Oh, he's
weekend.
promised. He's put it out there
Oh,
now. No
definitely gonna do one.
backtracking, mate.
So easy. Have a good one. and see you later.
See ya.